Also a great wingman map if you want to pick that up at level 1 to get that single target damage. Just saying.
I thought you said no fall stat this game.
Early fall stat.
Ah.
Early fall stat does not get the worm on this one. But fall stat's not the bird.
Well, yeah, because it's Tomb. You never have Abathur.
Ooh.
Except
Yeah,
that
quick
180
match.
RD game.
Oh, yeah.
All right, no tomorrow, first pick, first ban. I think this will be more so the Genji Tracer bans that we saw before.
Looking back for Freedom. Tomb, they first picked the Hanzo, or in their first rotation picked the Hanzo. Actually first picked Hanzo, and then they went into the Stitches. That's something that I wouldn't be opposed to. We've seen Hanzo kind of all over the place in our drafts, whether it's first, second, he wasn't in the last one. And he still has an impact, and I think if you draft around it, they ended up going Tassadar. So it was something that they did play around, and I think that's an opportunity if they want to go that here. Could be something, but no tomorrow. They're thinking long and hard, and they got to wonder if they're afraid of Hanzo on the other side. Do they want to keep Genji or Tracer up for themselves?
Ooh.
And they banned the Hanzo.
Wow.
They saw that game last week, and they're like, look, that Hanzo was actually good. Now they get to play around the fact, do they get a Tracer or a Genji out of it? And with that being said, does Team Freedom just
Leave it
allow
up.
both of them through?
Yes.
Or
No.
Yeah, they're willing to play more into the Tracer if that's the case.
Well, would no tomorrow first pick it, though? You were talking about no first pick Tracer. Usually you don't see it. You would see more of the Malfurion here and then get it after the fact, but would Team Freedom be okay with just task Tracering then and taking that away?
I mean, you have different options of counter drafting it. I mean, Urel obviously can do very well against situations like that. Tassadar does well on this battleground if you want to go into that Tassadar composition. If it's first picked here, then you go the other way. But if you do give that up, you do give up options. And you know, Genji is one of those, hey, I've got a deflect, I can just absorb the damage.
I was trying to see, I know we had Tracer bans yesterday, but did anyone pick her yesterday? Because she did have a little bit of a nerf, basic attack, blink cooldown. And I don't think so. I don't think we've seen her actually be picked, but with the bans, she's still frightening. For the teams, there's going to be Malfurion.
I like the changeup. I really do. For no tomorrow, the first pick Malf, we know it's a solid pick. You do potentially give up the Task Tracer here. We know Yoda is a phenomenal Tassadar player, and Lutano is a great Tracer player. So for these two, this is bread and butter essentially right now for
Peanut
Team
butter
Freedom.
jelly.
Peanut butter jelly, bread and butter, avocado and sugar. It's, you never know, right? And so
Stop trying to get me to try that, my dude.
so for now, the Task Tracer, we know it works. And so now you got to have options if you're no tomorrow. Is Urel a high priority here? We know you can go Ardent Defender, absorb that post level 10. You're also very tanky. Do you need the Johanna for the blind? I think Johanna would be an excellent pick up here. You get the wave clear, you get the blind, you get the iron skin, you get so much control over this battleground. But then is Jaina up there to deal with that? And Jaina versus a Tracer, early game Jaina is going to struggle until she gets that ice block, which how do you really get it against the Task Tracer? Because it's hard to land those skill shots on him.
Trying to think of maybe more of an auto attack type hero that instead could make sure that they're getting more damage in, unless we see no tomorrow building something where they can get more lockdown and then have the Jaina to follow up the damage. Johanna Blaze.
You could always hop into a bunker, I guess.
Yes.
Well, the other thing is, one of the heroes we saw yesterday from Van multiple times was the Greymane, and no tomorrow played Greymane, but it was not Casanova, I believe, on the Greymane in that game. So Sergeant Hammer's going to be banned out here. No shenanigans this time. But Greymane, I think, is great, but Phoenix is also available, and I wonder, with Task Tracer already being picked up, Phoenix not being banned out there, Phoenix can warp out of a pulse bomb. So Phoenix, I think, is a likely choice, but it's a matter of what do you pair with it. Because Phoenix gives you the wave clear, Greymane gives you the kill potential at level 7. You get the longer auto attacks on the human range that does outrange the Tracer at that point in the game. So it gives you options that you can work into.
I think it'll be Phoenix over Greymane. That would be my expectation.
I would want both.
Okay.
Yeah, double up. Just ignore the Jaina, use your Phoenix for your wave clear, and Greymane as your killer.
I don't know. Jaina Johanna is so
It's
strong
good.
now. They already have Blaze, so that Jaina, until she gets Ice Block, can dip into the bunker. If she's the Pulse Bomb target, Malfurion's going to get Ice Block. Johanna has her shielding too. They have a very good setup to try to deal with Pulse Bombs.
That Rhaegar apparently was pretty impactful. The one thing that I can see happening is no tomorrow, seeing what we saw yesterday out of Hero's Heart. Bless you blind for the dismount, Bless Shield, Ring of Frost combo.
Yes.
Extremely deadly to any tank on the front line, which now Garrosh is one of those heroes that does have a self-cleanse. You take away the cleanse from Rhaegar to potentially deal with that. So Deckard obviously is available, but is it worth it? And now all of a sudden with Kharazim, Divine Palm is one of those save options that we know Kalushin likes to play, and he's played it on this battleground. But Kharazim and a Tracer, it's hard to... Oh, they're going to go. They're going to go with it. I kind of like this because you have the Unstoppable with Leo. You have the late game Unstoppable with the Cleansing Dash, the Kharazim. If Jaina comes in here, Garrosh into Jaina is scary, but self-cleanse might be needed.
I think Tassadar is going to be the problem. If in Kharazim, who was it who played Kharazim, tried to dash in for a Divine Palm and ended up dying instead? I think it was Collusion. It was versus Heroes Hearth's Johanna Ring of Frost.
Somebody told me on a stream the other day, they said you're not a true support unless you die for your teammates. I think that's actually the tank role, but I totally died trying to cleanse somebody the other day.
Wait, trying to cleanse? Like cleansing touch?
Well, somebody made me play Lili.
Okay.
I didn't do it by choice. I was playing Lili. And
Don't lie. She's your secret love. You know it.
Just press Q.
Sometimes E.
Nothing better than McIntyre's Lili video, though. Still one of my favorites.
Okay. Chromie gets timeout at level 11. Greymane gets some armor when he's in Morgan form and has auto attacks. Both of them have auto attacks with Bronze Talons. Not what I was expecting. I was expecting more of a Jaina or a Phoenix, one of those two, but Chromie on Tomb of Spider Queen, something we see fairly often. Now I just want to know what that frontliner is going to be.
Muradin seems safe. Stitches definitely does not work with this composition. I mean, he can give you a little bit of wave clear in that department. The one thing that I do like about the adaptations that we've seen with the Johanna build with the Sins Exposed is that Chromie no longer has to extremely prioritize landing her Dragon's Breath on the minion wave, which you generally use that in this composition. Greymane's clear is okay, but post level 4, you get a Moonfire, you get the Condemn into a Punish. Does work very well for Johanna, so Chromie can be a little bit more threatening. That's kind of been the bane of her existence. Is it's nice to have Chromie, but when most of your damage has to be focused on wave clear, it does make it tough. But I think in this situation, it definitely works out really well. And as you said, the timeout at level 11, the Greymane does do well. So they have a lot of safety options versus this Tracer, which they knew was coming and they planned for.
I would say Team Freedom, good luck getting a turn in without getting some kills first, because between Chromie and Johanna, even Moonfires, you've got the oil. There's a lot of things happening there, cocktails, like everybody
Leo,
has it. Yeah,
Tracer,
for sure.
Tass, everybody's
sure.
gonna be...
You gotta win the fights if you're gonna drop the gyms off.
Turn-ins are gonna be at a premium, I think, this game. And it's up to teams that, what we've seen, like Tempo Storm, they get the small turn-ins. They get a little bit of wave clear, they force the rotations, and then they'll sneak around to the bot lane, they'll sneak around to the top, and they'll just get the small turn-ins, and eventually those accumulate. And just like we saw yesterday, when you don't get those little turn-ins, all of a sudden you're like, well, we've only turned 10 in, and then we died, and we lost a bunch of them. I think that's always a scary thing on Tomb. So again, they're going to be at a premium with this much interrupts on both sides.
One thing I am very interested about in this game is the bunker as we head into the game, because if bunker is used to save someone from the pulse bomb, then an Entomb comes out, often you want that Entomb to give someone a backdoor out of the Entomb. So that's going to need to be kept an eye on for No Tomorrow, and whoever is playing. It's Tomster. Yeah, Team Freedom is the one who has the role swaps there. So for Tomster and the bunker, especially because, again, with that 10 seconds yesterday, we saw a couple of kills happen on a Blaze because of that 10-second change.
I mean, it was just the minute that goes, you look up at the heroic bar and you're like, is that on cooldown? Was he not able to use it? And then you see 9 and 10 seconds left on it, and you're like, There it is. There's the cooldown. Again, I think the internal clock is still being figured out because some of those players were in positions where I think they're normally safe, but that 10 seconds, that internal clock, it's not necessarily you're consciously aware of it. You just have that built in, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't, something's not right here. And it was very evident yesterday.
Checking out this Leoric build. Having the heal plus Tassadar in the Karzium 2 is going to make for one very tanky, hard to kill composition for Team Freedom. And it's always, it kind of reminds me the old school days of Tomb of the Spider Queen, having such a survivable composition. Even if Leoric is the one sacrificed and died, then he comes back into position, and a lot of times that's enough that you can continue to delay your opponents and then have him come back at a flank, and that's when you get the entomb and the kill.
How about this early rotation, though, with Leo going top and then Tassadar going bottom? I think that takes away some of your potential kill threat because you need Tracer to be shielded. Early rotation, nonetheless. They seem to have readjusted in this circumstance. But an interesting start, I think, for No Tomorrow in that rotation.
Lutano's going to check to see if those bruisers were started. People were off the map long enough, and it's something to keep in mind versus a gray main. It's something that Tempo Storm had a lot of success with yesterday, is constant mercenary camp pickups to chip away at some structures, and after you win a team fight, then you just take down the structures all at once and get a serious lead from it, more than you would be able to otherwise. And with Web Weavers behind this, if they can start to get control of these lanes, start to turn them in, then No Tomorrow could try to skyrocket ahead in experience and get another win over Team Freedom.
They're going to do that. They've had control of the camps. They're even going to pick up that neutral siege camp at the bottom. We saw that ping just a second ago as the night camp's being cleared up here by Team Freedom. It's going to force out another response. But again, neither team, Gilly, at this point, as we see Zugrog take a bit of damage, neither team up until this point has even attempted to really get any gems turned in. No Tomorrow is actually going to be the first to do that. And again, it's just a matter of getting those turns in, getting those momentary turn-ins. And Johanna was waiting to pick level 4. It will be Sin's exposed for that added wave clear. Of course, a little bit of damage as well.
Well, for a lot of this laning setup, No Tomorrow have not had everybody out on the map. They have had 1 to 2 people getting in mercenary camps. This is going to be your first iteration of Pulse Bomb, which Jay Shrita wears with that Worgen form and the armor provided from it.
I like that play.
Good.
Sometimes you're like, was that intentional? That is 100% a look. I realize that Tracer is coming in for the kill, and for him to go in, 1, he's trading out, but 2, he knows to eat that Pulse Bomb. Very, very heads-up play there by Shrita.
Saved his teammate there, and that allows them to keep this lead going. Dodge on that. No Tomorrow just continuing to try. Oh, gonna let Jin maybe go forward and get those gems. No, just give them up. Unfortunately, a little too far forward to feel comfortable picking up those gems. I think rightly so versus this Tracer composition.
One of the hard things is because of these rotations, and again, Chromie, the opportunities to hit Team Freedom, only sitting at 8 stacks so far on our baseline quest. So we'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, it's something you definitely want to complete. Towards the later game, Bronze Talons, obviously, you can throw that out as needed. We see a little bit of damage going out here onto Nasmus. He does get the life drain in. Zugrog coming in. Tomster, again, sidestepping just about everything that comes his way.
So we're seeing the Dragon's Eye this time. No Mobius Loop for Chromie. So it is still the longer cooldown, but will pack a punch when it drops down. And I think that's to ensure that, like the Jaina follow-up from a Johanna, the Condemn, the Blessed Shield, Chromie can provide that same kind of burst damage. Especially if Tracer is found, get the lockdown from there, ensure that she can't recall out, or just catch her once she recalls after that. But Jay Schwartz is going to get hit by another Pulse Bomb, and same thing applies. It lives through it.
Scaling is a thing. It's one of the changes I think we saw either end of March, 1st of April, is the scaling changes to Pulse Bomb. Definitely a lot weaker in the earlier game, but ramps up as things go on. We see another rotation down. Tracer getting caught in the Condemn, forced the recall. I was going to say that recall is going to be on the backside. Nice root's going to go down, and Lutano going to be the first to fall. Shrite comes in for the kill. They might not be done yet, but we also might see a trade. Shrite trying to escape with his life. Eyes in the Dark going to buy him a little bit of an escape.
Jay's playing out of his mind, and that teamwork together to get that kill from No Tomorrow was exceptional. Chromie has been unfortunately stuck in a solo lane quite a lot of the time, so still trying to get those stacks and sitting at 12, but it has been slow going for Chromie. But we're looking at the turn-in now, and with these kills, especially if they can get one on Zugrug, takes damage from that Dragon's Breath, they may be able to get this first turn-in here.
Collusion goes in, gets the interrupt, uses one of those dashes available to him, so he gets in, gets out. Experience fairly even, and you know both teams are starting to feel the pressure of we got to get the turn in. It's 10 getting a little bit closer. Lutano being aggressive there on that Tracer. But so far, pretty even outside of that one kill. Thompson's going to come in. Actually, not in time.
It's a frustrating point for No Tomorrow because it does feel like they had a lot of control over this early game with the camps, with the picks, the pick. But now it's Team Freedom's chance to start getting some structural damage done and climb ahead, try to get heroic abilities, and then maybe combo a second. What are they sitting at? They're getting pretty close to there. Should be able to get a lot more off this Web Weaver push too. Yeah,
the snowball potential that we saw again is, we've seen the heavy impact that it's had on Volskaya. This is another area where Tomb of the Spider Queen, if you did get those early turn-ins, did make it a lot easier. There's going to be another pulse bomb going out. Shrite, I was going to say, I saw the purple coming out. I was like, wait a minute, that's going to hurt. But yeah, it's another thing where the Web Weavers, even if they do get down the fort walls, I think that definitely the race to 10 is heavily in favor of Team Freedom. But it's nowhere near the major snowball, and it might give just enough time for No Tomorrow to soak, defend, and maybe get close to 10 and not give up that back-to-back turn-in. We'll see if that's available as these Web Weavers about to finish off here momentarily.
Yeah, I wondered if Team Freedom might be able to actually take a fort out somewhere with getting 10 before No Tomorrow, but the wave clear of No Tomorrow was good enough that they cleared out those Web Weavers without too much of an issue, though losing Chromie is not what No Tomorrow wanted. Now Akaface in danger, Stormbolt hit, that time trap might just save so good. So lucky that time trap was there to stop Collusion from dashing in.
Well, that counter aggression again, Chromie one level away before getting that interrupt. It's been so difficult to find their positioning so far. Jin going forward does get a little bit of damage in, but there's really not a lot they can do with this composition. Post level 10 though for No Tomorrow, you start to have that engage, and it's been picked up. Bless Shield is going to be there. You have a lot of opportunities to go forward, but that is an Entomb. That is a dead Jin, and Lutano's trying to make it a dead Casanova. Akaface on the front. Everybody's struggling here on No Tomorrow.
This is unfortunate. Out of nowhere, Team Freedom just woke up and decided that they were going to bring the aggression to No Tomorrow. They got 4 kills here, starting with the Entomb on Jin. Okay. I see you, Team Freedom. I see you.
I'm just trying to figure out, Jin going that far forward, there was no team, no real follow-up. The team was really split, and when you're the Johanna, you have Iron Skin, you have the save option, but the heals weren't there, and a very good Entomb by Nasmus. Lutano's going to come down, help confirm the Siege Giants. The one saving grace is that Tomster did get some of his gems turned in before. However, everybody lost theirs, and Tomster was only able to pick up 7.
And Jin had a ton.
Yeah.
A lot of gems. So they only have enough for their first turn-in, and it's going to be a long road until they can get it. Team Freedom now gets their second, thanks to all those kills, like to get 13, and finally start to take down some of these forts. Nasmus being very aggressive in this bot lane, while the rest starts to rotate up to take out that final fort in the top.
Well, that's where Dragon's Eye comes in. Definitely helps in the damage department, but also helps in clearing the Web Weavers, because they are the significant amount of health that we do see on this. Zugrug being very aggressive, Dwarf tossing in. Avatar's going to be used. They are all in. Bless Shield's going to be used. Bunker down to try and buy a little bit of space. Zugrug might have overextended here, but the go for the throat not able to confirm the kill. Zugrug walks away. He's going to get that second win, healing up in a moment. No Tomorrow let one slip through their fingers.
Solid rotation from Nasmus now. Zugrug heals up, ready to be back in action. Akaface being chased down, doesn't have Ice Block, hits the Pulse Bomb, but it's not enough to seal the deal and sign off on Akaface's kill. But still, Team Freedom are totally fine to fight over this. They have such an advantage, and it's time that No Tomorrow is not defending. Yes, the top fort lives, but with the Giants in the bottom and the Web Weavers, the Web Weaver in the mid, they lost Keep Towers in 2 lanes, and this is a massive advantage for Freedom.
This is an opportunity. Team Freedom, they don't necessarily have the best sieging potential until 16 when you get that Sonic Echo, but with this Night Camp here, curious if they're even going to be willing to move forward. They still have the talent tier advantage. They could find a pick here. I don't think they can get the keep off of it. They don't have the sieging capabilities yet, but it's definitely taking away that control and giving them an advantage here as they continue to keep these lanes pushed out. They're only 22 gems away from getting another turn-in as well, and that turn-in could potentially start spelling keeps, plural.
If nothing else, they possibly could rotate up to top and siege down on that fort too. Tracer separated from everyone else. Jin's gonna walk in, blind dismounts, but the rest of the team too far behind to follow up anything, so not gonna use Blessed Shield there. No Tomorrow though, they're getting pretty close to 13. They're going to have a window of opportunity to try to force something out from Freedom, but this is a point where Freedom is so strong. They just do not give those opportunities to their opponents very often.
Zugrug gets one interrupt. Yoda's going to come in, puts down the Psy Storm just in time to get Tomster. Tomster's going to come in again. Zugrug look again. I think they need to try and turn this. They don't have 13. I know it's difficult, but they're not even making an attempt to try and counter this. They're going to walk away. I think the threat of 13 not being there, the thing that they have to caution themselves on is it's now 7 gems away. That is 2 waves and 1 extra. And Team Freedom continuing to get these small turn-ins, starting to accumulate more and more. They are getting dangerously close to another turn-in, that 16 tier advantage for No Tomorrow. Their time might be right now to get back into this right as they hit 13.
Time is absolutely now. But Jin's taking quite a lot of damage, uses Iron Skin early, and Zugrug's gonna come around from the side, maybe try to get that kill. Dodges the Storm Bolt, which is excellent. The bunker's gonna be used anyway.
Leo's right above this. He's looking for an Entomb. Yeah, you can see him right there lurking around, seeing if there was an opportunity. It wasn't there. There's going to be Jin lockdown. Tranquility's out. Iron Skin going to be used at the last minute. They are going all in. That stun is going to be enough. They try to get the trade-off onto Nazma. Shrite might have overextended at that moment. He's going to disengage out. Tomster, he's taking the pressure now. That's another takedown. Gems are going to be lost. And No Tomorrow, again, retreating down 3 levels, 16 to 13. Opportunity for a keep and potentially more to be taken down now with the turn-in that is imminent.
I mean, at the point we're at in this game, Gems is frustrating to lose, but the point we're looking at is game is starting to become a huge concern for No Tomorrow because there is the 16 with the camp behind it and the Web Weavers for Team Freedom. They have a lot of opportunities to open up this win condition for them in the future if they can win fights, and No Tomorrow has not won any fights. They've gotten 1 kill this entire game.
For Team Freedom, this is 2 keeps minimum, and if it's anything less than that, then something bad happened. The other thing is that the engagements that they potentially have could also spell game if they can get a kill or 2. Again, they don't have the best sieging. Tracer, not so much. You do have Iron Fist Kerosene, which does help, but this should be with that Siege Giant on the bottom, and this here, there's going to be kill number 1. 7-sided Strike goes out. Jin surviving for now. Bunker comes out, keeping multiple people alive. No Tomorrow, they're fighting back, and they're doing so very well thus far.
Team 7-sided Strike isolation combo was avoided with Iron Skin and the Bunker enough. This time, having that Bunker to save Jin from the Entomb, but the problem remains of the Web Weavers and Freedom distracting No Tomorrow from being able to defend versus them. We're gonna see No Tomorrow try to defend this keep in the bottom without the 16 and everything because they know they need to, but Jin just taking far too much damage, and Nazmus with that Drain Hope takes him out.
They still don't have keeps down, which is so surprising to me that they have not been able to. Shrite goes in, he's trying to trade onto Yoda. Pulse Bomb's gonna find him anyways. Now it goes from 1 down, 2 down, 3 down, make it 4, make it 5. That is a 5-man team wipe. Boom, just like that. Team Freedom goes from let's not get any keeps and let's just end it in a split second.
It felt like every fight in that game was exactly like that split second. Starting with the Entomb on Jin, and all of a sudden everybody except one person was dead by No Tomorrow. No Tomorrow defended admirably, but it was such a hard defense. They were losing gems. They were bleeding gems that game. Could not keep a hold of any of them. Never got a single turn-in. It is so rare to say that a team didn't get a single turn-in an entire game, and that is just, you can look back, No Tomorrow started to get gems turned in, and then the one steal of putting the gems in by Freedom, and they never looked back.
It was difficult. Chromie, again, had a difficult time stacking in the early game, not really impactful. Shrite, that counter engagement there, you're already down quite a bit. He saw an opportunity to maybe take down Tassadar. Yoda had that dimensional shift available. The Pulse Bomb met him on the way out. And that counter engagement there, it feels like No Tomorrow actually held on. Despite losing Jin there, they might have ended up losing and keep at the tail end of that, but they're like, look, this is going to be one of our rare opportunities we're going to have to fight. But that engagement there, I almost feel could have been avoided, maybe trying to get a turn in, because that was pretty much the majority of Freedom's gems, but we find ourselves 1-1 regardless, and Team Freedom, they get one. They're like, all right, maybe we can't do, let's actually get the rest. They came back into us, we can kill them.
Yeah, when you are that far behind in a game too, you know that you have to start making those risks, and that No Tomorrow is willing to do that. Not all teams always are. So for them, now we set 1-1 in this series. We're going to be heading to a break pretty soon, but it does feel like Team Freedom has started to right the ship, what we would expect in this series.
It was much better, game number 2, but I also think the Chromie pick, if that was a Jaina pick, maybe that game looks a little bit different. You control the rotations a little bit better, maybe a little bit more damage. But again, going into that Tracer, they willingly gave up that Tracer. They banned the Hanzo. They knew something was going to be coming by first picking Mouth. And Team Freedom happily locked in the Task Tracer, and it proved way too much there. And if you're asking for it, you're going to get it. You better be prepared for it. They tried, but Team Freedom a little bit better that game.
Well, we'll see if they can keep that up after the break. We'll be back soon with more HGC, more Team Freedom versus No Tomorrow.